We have a wealth of information on this reservation regarding the time before Columbus, and how to live in another way. Lakota hallmark lifestyle is that there was no prisons in our system. There was no court systems in our way of living. There was no locks, no keys in our way of living. If you have a life like that, you have to be very honest. You have to be very truthful. And you have to be very respectful. Because you end up, like-minded people living together in such a way that your home is my home, su casa, mi casa. This idea is slowly, disappearing. And that's a tragedy that we may not be able to survive as a society.
The people really adjusted and changed their way of existence. However, it was hard for them to understand the capitalistic way of life. Everything in our community was always commonly shared. So whenever anybody had anything extra, they would give to elders, to the needy. So when we had to change, and it was difficult for people to become individualistically self-developed, to get a higher education, to make the most money, to get the biggest contracts, to garner the most wealth. Well, that really was in opposition to who we are and what we are as a people.
If we say, I'm bigger than all of the whole, which is the old Caesar question, am I greater than the total sum of my people? Well, this is, I guess, a monument to arrogance. This is something that a lot of people, especially among the Western civilization people, are really aspiring to. If you're born into a system like the U.S., it's pretty much encompassing education, travel, studies, what have you, all done in English. And that's already a part of a big problem. To understand the world in English terms, you always end up arguing against yourself. Yeah, we see the world in quite a little different ways. We talk about all things having soul. We talk about all things having a nari, a spirit. We all talk about them that they can speak to us. And when we say mitakuye oyase, which is all my relatives, it just means exactly that we don't see a world of strangers. We see a world of relatives.
Innately, I think every person, every two-legged on earth has within them the spirituality that we speak about as Native people. We're very open about it as nature lovers and more than that, spiritual nature lovers. There's a life in everything.
The Western world is a vertical society. We have to have somebody who's the big chief up on top. And then down at the bottom, that's where most of us exist, This vertical idea is contrary to Lakota way of looking at it, as a horizontal way of looking at life. That we are all part of this beautiful creation called Mother Earth, and that is the circle that all of us are standing around on, and that we have to be aware of that. In the Western world, you're encouraged to keep your children looking face up. And this starts with that vertical mentality. Women are treated like, they're sick or something. They have to go to the hospital, and it costs thousands of dollars to be born. When you used to think about it in the history, you think, wow, man, how did our people get birthed? When a baby is born in a receiving blanket, and, they put onto a cradle board. And the cradle board stands up and down and can see the world in a 360 degrees. They see all things as equal. The United States itself is also something that's, I notice about it, everything is perpetually for sale. Always for sale, everything. I don't care what it is, it's for sale. So it makes you wonder, what is important in this country? Today, our people, have money floating in front of us all the time. Grab it, be like me, grab it, be like us, grab it, be free like us, Now, I know what freedom is, and that's not what you're talking about. Yeah, We cannot live without Mother Earth. Mother Earth can live without us as a human being, as a two-legged being. We are just an example of the kindness of Mother Earth. Let's just put it that way. Because Mother Earth, in her kindness, allows us to be also part of it with all of our faults, with all of our self, glorification, with all of our fancy clothes and with all the gold and, the money, the plastic, all this kind of stuff. Instead of remaining humble and listening to the heartbeat of this earth, listening to the winds that blow, listen to the rains that come and visit you, because you need every one of those things to live. And if you destroy one part of it, you're actually destroying yourself. It's like Martin Luther King says, we'll base everything on the content of your heart. And that's, so there are people who dream like this, but unfortunately, this society doesn't believe in dreamers and visionaries. They only believe in the 8 to 5, time is money.
And I always see that we will see the true nature of this American people, these white people that came from somewhere else, that they're going to become the savages and the people who are going to, cannibalize their own people. These are hard things to say, but it has to be said. The wound that was created by the coming of the white man to this country is a wound that did not heal. It's a wound that is festering under a scab. And pretty soon we're going to have to take that scab off. We're going to have to clean that wound out. We're going to have to heal that wound. And then finally we will come to an understanding that we are one and only one people on this earth. At some point in time we will see that our way of praying and our way of doing things is really one of the answers to the turmoil of this world.
We have to be true to ourselves, and the best way you can do that, go without food for 4 days and 4 nights. Start out easy. Don't do it all at once. Maybe one time a month, you can go 1 day. Next month, go 2 days. Like so. But the road to self-discovery, self-understanding, to create a vision, to create a dream for yourself, you have to deny yourself the basic things that a human needs in order to get to the core of who you are. I must stay true to my language. I must stay true to the Lakota way of thinking. I must stay true to the ceremonial life. And I'm going to teach as many children as I can around the world. My grandfather and grandpa says, "Ochokahakach apo." Put those little circles on this earth everywhere you go. So we create these centers, create this center, create that center, create that center. That's how we're going to propagate, this Lakota way of living, this Lakota style. Because, no matter how you pray or where you pray, it's important that you do pray. Because praying is letting your spiritual self have a voice.